Hi everyone, I'm with our chairman, Steve Brown. It's Steve Brown's turn to face me. So I thought what we'd do is we'd start off just by doing a bit of a retrospect thing, because you just finished your first season as being chairman. And in that first season, it was a bit up and down, a lot to contend with. You had 3 managers in the end, and we won a trophy, which is just to your side there. So, how stressful was that?
More stressful than I would have wanted it to have been for the first year. To be fair, we went into the pre-season quite confident. Actually, we thought we'd had a good pre-season, and the start of the season it didn't go the direction we were hoping to. We've got a lot of plans that we plan on to do around the club, and we were hoping that the pitch, what went on the pitch, took care of itself, but and then we could focus on off the field, but unfortunately it didn't turn out that way, and we had to drastically refocus on what was going on the field. And 3 managers later we were with Glyn, and he happily stepped up and helped out when we were in the trouble. I think at one stage we'd played 15 league games and lost 11. So we needed to see improvement on that, and thankfully it did. And we've been able to focus more on what's going on off the pitch now, thankfully, as results have improved on the pitch.
Right. So now you've got a bit of experience interviewing managers.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
So when you're doing that process of actually interviewing someone, do you, as chairman of the club, do you insist on a certain style of play, or is this something the manager's got complete freedom over?
The way we look at it is that any manager coming in, they've already most likely got their own way of working. They've already got their mind on how they're going to play, the type of players they want. That's not what we're there really trying to get an idea, a feel for. We're trying to get someone who's going to fit into the club, fit into the club's way that we want to move forward. You probably see, if you come up and watch us, we have a lot of young players on the pitch. That's credit to the youth team. We've got 30 youth teams that feed into this, and it's a massive credit to all the managers and all the volunteers that help in the youth section that prepare those players to come into that. And the only thing we look for in a new manager is that they're willing to be open-minded about those young players, because the whole purpose of producing those youth players is that they will one day, some of them, feed into the first team. And that's all we ask for, is an open mind around the young players coming through. But we don't dictate who they can and can't use, and we certainly don't tell them the styles of play that we expect. Okay.
But the club continues to expand.
It does.
And for the coming season, we've not only got 1 women's team, but likely to have 2 women's team. Yeah. So how did that all come about?
Well, as part of what we're doing off the field, we are trying to increase Mangotsfield's reach into the community. We want to cater for more and more needs in the community. It's a big central hub in the area. There are hundreds of children, hundreds of adults that are involved in playing and running within this setup, and we need to be modern. We also need to be able to be inclusive, and we need to be able to allow a way into this club for women's football. And I think it's something that was high on our list to do. Fortunately, Steve contacted us as he was interested in finding somewhere that he could grow his team, because he's got a successful side. He's also he had extra over players that were keen to play, and we were happy to facilitate an extra team so they could bring those players in, grow on what they've got, and we hope that they can develop and expand from there. The idea of bringing in the women's first team then also gives a goal for any young mini girls sides that we're also looking to in the future set up and get running, so there'll be a development route for young girls through into adulthood as well.
Okay, bit of an interesting question from me, having sort of been with your seat. There's an awful lot of unpaid volunteers, yourself included, and we're very dependent on volunteers to keep the club going. So, talking to you, why do you do it?
Why do I do it?
All the time commitment and everything, and
Why do I do it? I do it because first and foremost, I love the club. I was coming here as a teenager. As soon as I could go out and watch football on a Saturday, it's within walking distance of my house. It was where I wanted to go. It's a great atmosphere in here. When you get your 150 to 200 people on a Saturday, it's a close, tight ground. It's a lovely buzz, and it was always good, entertaining football, and that's what we want to reproduce. But ultimately, I do it because I see this club as being more than just a football club. I see it as being a hub, a community hub for the whole area that can cater for everyone. And I've got a little boy. A lot of the guys who volunteer around here have got children of their own, or got grandchildren, and they want to develop this place, and they want to see it become something that's sustainable and there for their children and grandchildren in the future. And as do I. And I think that if I can do my bit towards it, I mean, we're all only custodians, us who are here, and put it in a good place for the future. And if I can do my bit and help with that, then that's all I want to do, really.
Fair play to you. We're not that far away from the beginning of next season.
No.
So there's what I call a lot of magic fairies out there during the mid-season break, sorting the pitch out, doing some updating, decorating, all that sort of stuff. It's the only time you've got a chance to do it.
Absolutely.
So do we need more volunteers to help out? And not just on a match day, but generally?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, the volunteers, I mean, I volunteer, but the guys who are up here in the week, on evenings, tidying the changing rooms, decorating the club, cleaning the stands after a match day, doing the pitch, they're all unpaid. Nobody gets paid for doing that work. They do it for the love of the club, and it just wouldn't happen without them. They're absolutely fantastic, but they are only a few, and they're always welcoming extra people. We have the Wednesday Club, who are a group of volunteers who work up here on a Wednesday. They come up here, they tidy the pitches, the surrounds, the clubhouse, and they always need more help. So I mean, if you're looking for something to do on a Wednesday morning, you're retired, or you work shift work and you fancy coming up with a good group of people, good community feel, then feel free to come up. They're always looking for help. And match day stewards, we're always looking for more match day stewards.
Okay, so looking ahead, again with the season starts not too far away. Last season was a poor start, but we finished 11th.
We did.
Have you sat down and had a chat with the manager for potential targets of what you'd like to achieve?
Definitely had chat. We're looking to progress on from where we were. As I said, the first half of the season was poor, but Glenn and his team and the lads they put out managed to get 40 plus points from the second half of the season, get to a respectable mid-table, win a cup, which was no less than what they deserved for the amount of effort that they put in the second half of the season. And we think from that point on, if they can maintain that momentum and they can continue playing the way that we know they can, and you can hold on to the key players that you need to, maybe add a little bit here and there, then we should be looking to finish in the top. Our aim is the top 5, to finish in the top 5, which would be a playoff place. But that's where we want to be. We're realistic. We know there are good teams. Nothing's taken for granted. There are some very good teams that have come down into the Hellenic League. There are teams that have been developing who were there already last season. I mean, take Corsham, who just missed out, had a massive backlog of games to play, and nearly got there. They're a very good side. So they're good teams in the Hellenic League, and we don't take anything for granted. But you've got to have a target, and our target is to finish in the top 5 if we can, along with probably another 9 clubs, I expect.
And a cup run would also be rather nice.
Another cup run would be wonderful. It'd be brilliant to try and actually put down a marker and try and retain the cup. But again, you know, a nice little FA Cup run, which starts on the 5th of August as well. That would be nice. Or in the Vase as well. So there's lots of little things to go at, and they're all important. So yeah, Glenn's got his work cut out for him this season.
Okay, thanks for your time, Steve.
No worries.
See you again.
Thank you very much.